Welcome everybody. Today we're going to be looking at the CCA Pianist. This is the latest IM from CCA that has 3 drivers in it, so it has a dynamic and 2 balanced armatures. There's a nice backstory there. If you get them, give it a little read. It's almost a paragraph long, so it's pretty long for a backstory. Nice design. Box is typical. The cable is typical. The ear tips are typical. They're Starline tips inside the box. You get 3 sizes. There's no foamies in here. You get the standard silver cable, although I think this one is 0.75, not 78. Maybe KZ's the one that does the 78, but it's basically the same cable, just with a different QDC connector. Looking at the specs on the back. Now online, it does say that this is 18 ohms. It is not. It is 39 ohms. It's pretty high for an IM from them. Looking at it, it is 20 to 40 kilohertz. Like I said, a 0.75 millimeter QDC connector and a 3.5 millimeter termination on it. It weighs 83 grams. The sensitivity isn't bad. It's 106 decibels, so that's not bad, but it does like power with that 39 ohms. So just be noted that it will sound a bit different running it straight from your device, whether you're using a DAP or a phone or a PC. It will sound different. It'll be more kind of V-shaped sounding. Whereas when it is, you use a dongle, just a simple dongle, say like the XO from Hitters or the Questal M15, which isn't really simple. That's a more expensive one, but it's going to sound a lot better, and you're going to get a lot more power in it, and it's going to be a lot louder in volume. So anyway, I'm going to go by the results of how I tested it. I did use a dongle since it was 39 ohms. It's almost 40 ohms, which is a lot for an IM. Put that off to the side. Take a look at it. Here is that cable. We've seen that cable probably about 1,000 times, or at least I have. Looking at the back of these, they are resin. It is kind of see-through. If the light was a little bit brighter in here, you would see maybe a little bit of the drivers. The front of it, faceplate is metal. There's a vent in here, whether it's a working vent or not, I am not 100% sure. It's got the branding on it. It looks really sleek looking, kind of stealthy. It's in this gunmetal. It does come with either a microphone or without a microphone. I get the without because a lot of the amplifiers and everything, they don't like microphones. So if I can get it without the microphone, I usually get it without the microphone. So anyway, comfort-wise, it's that standard guitar pick kind of shape. I found isolation was very good with it as well. And the star tips aren't that bad. They're actually really good, like stock, budget tips. There's nothing wrong with them. Obviously, later on, if I was going to be using these a lot, I would, try different tips like spin fit or something like that. So anyway, nice shape, comfortable for me. It's that stereotypical shape that they have. There's no funny like ergonomics. It's just rounded in the back, and it fits on your ears well. It should fit most ears. Really comfortable. Isolation, like I said, was good. It may not be the best in isolation in the world. Maybe those vents are actually open. I didn't notice any sound leakage though. So let's discuss the overall sound quality of this. It's kind of like a U-shaped. Depending on the power you're putting into it, could be a V-shape. Bass is very good. There's a nice bottom end in there. It's got that KZ boom boom, with probably a faster decay than usual, I would say, because it doesn't hang around a lot. It doesn't muck up anything. It just, and there's enough there to give that, the mids there warmth. So it does have some nice warmth to the lower mids. Speaking of the lower mids, they have a decent thickness. There's a very good note weight there. When we're talking about the instruments, and separation is excellent there too. Hearing each note of the piano, and I did test this with a bunch of piano things like Merry-Go-Round of Life and stuff from anime, and then some pop songs from like Elton John and stuff that had piano, and some other things, Billy Joel. And because it was called The Pianist, I took it upon myself to test Pianist. And I like Pianist tracks, and I like live tracks as well. And we're getting into that. It also did good with stringed instruments as well, particularly like bass and the guitar. And I'm trying to think of some other music that I listened to. Sitar, it had a little bit of sitar in it, and I found that the separation and the just overall presentation of the mids were very good. Of course, they're warm. They're not completely like a neutral kind of tone. They're kind of a more realistic, organic kind of tone. And then we move into the treble. Now the treble has decent air, and it also has enough sparkle there. Treble heads, I don't know. It does good. It has a good extension. I don't think it's like super long extension. I just think that it just handles the treble good. It's definitely not reserved in any way. So there's good air, good sparkle up there, excellent details overall, and of course separation. And we move into the sound stage. Now the sound stage is a natural field. It isn't the widest in the world. It isn't holographic by any means, but it really is kind of, I don't want to keep saying that word, organic. It seems natural in its placement. Maybe it's equal wide as it is. It's squared, like equal wide depth and height. It does a good job there, and there's good accurate kind of imaging, and there's definitely placed well. So yeah, I like that. And another thing with the mids is the mids are also placed kind of vocals are placed kind of center forward, which means that they sound good. They have a nice natural tone to them overall, and nice natural positioning in front of the instruments. And I like that a lot about that. Is this going to be my favorite? I don't know. There are so many IMs out right now that could be my favorite. I'm going to have to go through like a whole thing and do a whole nother video on new favorites, like all the ones that I like, and I really don't want to have to move them to like a different area, but honestly, there's just so many good IAMs coming out right now. So anyway, this one is a decent IM. It's very, very good, and it has some really good character to it overall. It may not be perfect, but it is very, very, very good, and it's an interesting IM with that 39 ohm impedance. Just overall pretty cool. I like the design too. The design's really, really cool. So good job, CCA. Thank you so much for watching. Be safe, and I'll see you in the next video.